Other than quarterback, the position that has the biggest impact on wins and losses is kicker. Think about how many games are won and lost because of field goal kicking. There are a lot of games that come down to one possession when kicking is the deciding factor. The Steelers' MVP on their offense for the past 3 seasons has been Chris Boswell. When they've been unable to put points up on the board, Chris Boswell has been reliable for them. Last season, the Cincinnati Bengals paid Evan McPherson before they extended Jamar Chase. And not just did the Bengals defense cost them a spot in the playoffs, but also Evan McPherson missing a handful of field goals, which would have flipped a lot of those losses that the Bengals had into wins. Justin Tucker, he left a lot of points off the board for the Ravens last year. If he was his old self, the Ravens possibly could have beaten the Buffalo Bills. When you have a reliable field goal kicker, you have a high chance of winning close games because special teams is an underrated factor when it comes to winning games against good teams. Think about how good the kicking was for Kansas City last year. They were in a one-possession game damn near every single week, and they were winning those games because they had not just good coaching and they had one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but they also had a reliable field goal kicker. The Dallas Cowboys have a kicker that can make field goals from nearly 70 yards out. When you have a field goal kicker that once you get into the 60-yard range or 58, 59 yards out, they become a weapon. Because all you got to do is get to the middle portion of the field and you're within their range. It pretty much makes it where every possession, you can put points up on the board. And when you have bad field goal kicking, oftentimes it can ruin your season. The New York Jets last year, as much as how Aaron Rodgers gets all of the blame for how left things went last year, the field goal kicking was a huge detriment to the Jets season. They had some missed field goals in that Monday night loss against the Buffalo Bills. They had a few other missed field goals that costed them in a few games. You don't necessarily always got to have a high-powered offense to win, but you got to have an offense that can put your team in position to put points up on the board, and that involves having a kicker that can be trusted to bank those field goals. Think about Young-Ho Koo with the Atlanta Falcons. They lost some games over the past 2 years because of him, despite him being regarded as one of the better kickers in the league. They extended him not too long for a reason, and now there's a chance that he could end up getting replaced if he struggles again this year. Kicking gets so overlooked because it's a position that nobody pays attention to when it's good, but when it's bad and you got a guy missing field goals, wide left, wide right, then that's when everybody starts complaining about it. It's the same thing with the offensive line. When the team is dominating and having success, nobody ever talks about how good the big boys up front are. But when the offensive line is bad and is getting the starting quarterback crushed, then everybody starts crying about it. Kicker is so important to winning in the NFL because when you're going into these one-possession games against playoff caliber teams, if you don't have a good field goal kicker, that can be the difference in your season ending early and your season carrying on for another week. You gotta have a guy who can make those clutch field goals for you in those big moments. And oftentimes these kickers fail to deliver. There are only about 3 elite kickers in the NFL. Other than that, you can't trust any of these kickers with the game on the line. And the reason why I'm bringing up the importance of kickers is because with me betting a lot during the football season, I've had a lot of parlays ruined, a lot of big paydays destroyed because guys, which only responsibility is to kick a damn ball through the upright, can't do their jobs right. Kicker is literally one of the most easiest positions in the NFL, yet It has such a big impact on flipping games that nobody ever talks about how important it is. Now, you can say that pass rushers, offensive tackles are more important to wins and losses, which I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you on that, but you can overcome having bad offensive tackle play. You can overcome not having a lot of talented pass rushers, but it's hard to win if you don't have reliable field goal kicking, because you could end up like how the Bengals were. As I said, it's not just the Bengals defense that kept them from making it to the playoffs, but the fact that they extended the kicker before the season that just folded every time they needed him to make a big field goal to help them win those one possession games. That is oftentimes the difference in a lot of these losses that these teams have.